It's 2021. Man, I'm like, I got that song in my head. In the year 25. It's like, man, okay. In the year 2020, that don't go good. Okay, anyway. No. Let's hope, it's like, because people may be in a hurry to get out of 2020 and jump into something worse, man. Like, just be thankful for God, man.
Yes.
Just have that attitude of gratitude. Because without it, you could end up with something worse, man. Anyway, it's time for the ZOpium Den Part 2. Let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
we
all
left
good.
off on 11.
I mean, I know that you guys want me to sing that, that smoke on the altar thing.
Please.
Okay, it brought us to the word oven, right?
Yeah.
Got some loving in the oven, right? And the word for that is going to be tenor. And as in a furnace or a stove, a fire pot. And it comes from the word tanuk, from words like tanuk and nair. To get tenor, you're going to have tanuk and nair. Let's start with the first part of that, or the first couple of syllables of that word, or whichever. I think I'm using that grammar right. Syllables, syllable. All right. Tanuk, which means tip or lobe, as in the tip or the tip of the ear or the earlobe, right? And it also means pinnacle. But why does it? I mean, when you think about those, the ear. Okay, we're talking about it's coming from these words tanuk and nair. Tenor, meaning oven. It's going to come from the words tanuk and nair, and this is the oven. What does that have to do with your ear?
Yeah.
Right? God, why is God's like? Remember, y'all. Why does God do this? It's like these mnemonics. They're strange. Mm-hmm. How do we remember things?
Yeah.
How do usually mnemonics are made by saying something weird?
Yep.
Right? Saying something that's just off. Well, God does that a lot, right? So remember these things. Remember these things. Remember these things. Hey, why do you think Yeshua said, do this in remembrance of me?
Yeah.
Right? I put a lot of things in here for you to remember. I gave you lots of mnemonics, y'all.
Sure
lots
did.
of them. You should remember me. This isn't about just remember me going forward. This is about remembering who I've always been.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, y'all. So when it's talking about this oven and associating it with your ears, well, it's like he's got your ear now, don't he? Saying something strange like this. It's like, it ain't like, is the ear supposed to be associated with, I don't know, the dinner bell? Is that how you tying it with the oven? Is it a dinner egg, a timer egg? Are we supposed to be listening out for the timer egg or something like that? Okay, but y'all remember that the priests were marked on their right earlobe, y'all, with the blood of the sacrifice in their consecration.
Interesting.
Right? So God wants you to focus on that ear.
Huh.
And why? Because that's going to be reflected. It's going to be reflected in Peter cutting off the right ear of Malchus. Right? That's going to be a bloody ear.
Yes.
Right? Now, Malchus, y'all, is the servant of the high priest looking to judge Yeshua. Right? And the name Malchus means king. Right? A servant whose name means king. Yeshua, the servant who is king and priest and actually rightful judge. All right there.
Yeah.
Foretold. Right? So sheep, can you hear what the Lord is saying? Right? Have you heard what the Lord's got cooking in the oven?
Hallelujah.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, all that stuff is in there for us to remember.
Yes.
All right. So the word tanuk, as we broke down these words, we're getting to still examining tanuk, and tied to the word tanuk is anuk, right? Anuk, right? And the word anuk, this word anuk, it means a plummet or a plumb line, right? What's up with that? A plumb line to do with the oven. I don't know. Maybe if you, I guess you want to make sure that the oven is straight when you put it in. You know, but the word anak is going to mean your plummet or a plumb line, and it's a plumb line, y'all. It's like a pointed. It's a pointed weight, right? And it's basically it relies on gravity to give a natural indication of vertical or right angle relative to the Earth's gravity, right? So this tool is pretty much, well, this tool is definitely used a lot by carpenters.
Oh, indeed.
Right?
I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Carpenters, painters. It's an old school tool, definitely used by carpenters. Coincidence? All right, carpentry. Oh man, all that goes into the oven, y'all. Yeah, put that in the oven too.
Yeah.
Let's cook that, right? Man, it's like God has been prophesying to us from way back then. Y'all, it's like I've been telling you from the beginning. This is the Lord, man. He's saying, I've been telling you from the beginning that you guys are going to be so blind to who I obviously am that you are going to kill me by the very tools and material of my trade. Hammer, woods, nails.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
You don't see me? Come on, man. All right. Also, in the word tanur is the word nair, right? Which means lamp. And the Lord is the Lamb and the lamp of New Jerusalem. He is our lamp, period, right? He is the lamp of the tabernacle. And on a side note, like, because, I've said to folks, hey, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. And that raises eyebrows with some folks, right? That I would say Happy Hanukkah to them. When I say Happy Hanukkah, y'all, I'm not pointing anybody I'm not inviting to anybody to celebrate a religious holiday. That's not what it's about.
Right.
When I say Happy Hanukkah, y'all, the reason is because a key symbol of Hanukkah is going to be that menorah.
Yeah.
Right? This menorah that what they celebrate, it has more than 7 lights. Y'all, that's not necessary. Right? I understand that they have the reasons for doing it, but y'all, the lamp is already 7 lights. Completion, perfection. It represents Yeshua. It don't need no more lights. But what I'm trying to bring people's attention to is that lamp, right? The lamp that represents Yeshua. It's always been him. That's another article in the tabernacle. It represents him,
Amen.
right? The lamb and the lamp, that's him, right? So when I'm talking about that, that's what I'm pointing people to. It's and since Hanukkah, y'all, is centered around the dedication of the temple. I believe it's supposed to be because it's supposed to be the dedication of the second temple, right? But the thing is, y'all, we're looking at the dedication of the ultimate dedication. We're talking about New Jerusalem.
Yes.
Right? We're talking about New Jerusalem that the Lord is going to be lighting forever. He is the lamp of that,
Amen.
right? This Jerusalem that is be coming out of heaven adorned as a bride. You want to talk about a dedication, right? And the Lord himself is its temple.
Yeah.
He is the temple. He is the light of it. Revelation 21, 22 through 23. But I saw no temple in the city because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple. And the city has no need for sun or moon to shine in it because the glory of God illuminates the city and the Lamb is its lamp, right?
Awesome.
That's why, right?
Yeah.
So please, guys, understand when I say Happy Hanukkah, it's not me trying to say, hey, let's celebrate a religious holiday. It's like, no, it's supposed to be like Hanukkah. Yeah, right? Study up on that lamp,
Amen.
right? Not according to the Apocrypha, but the canon.
Right.
What God says, right? It's like, well, let me go ahead and look in Maccabees and see what it says. No.
Oh.
Right? No. In here, tell you everything that you need to know about the lamp.
Yes.
Right? And we've talked about it on it. We've done an in-depth study on it. Right? I hope you guys check it out. But this is the source to go to first. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Let's get into 7:12. All right. Where you at, 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. If he brings it for a Thanksgiving, Let me take it from 11. Now, this is the Torah of the sacrifice of fellowship offerings, which may be offered to Adonai if he brings it for a thanksgiving. Then he is to present with the sacrifice of thanksgiving matzah cakes mixed with oil, matzah wafers anointed with oil, and fine flour cakes mixed with oil. He is to present the offerings and the sacrifice of the fellowship offerings for the thanksgiving, along with cakes of bread and hammocks. All right, let's break it down. And y'all, make sure if I hope you guys will take a listen to Leviticus 3 concerning the fellowship offering, just to kind of give you a little bit more, insight into where we're coming from. Because, a lot of this stuff it's kind of redundant. So we've talked about it before. And a lot of this stuff is like me kind of revisiting to set the stage for the deeper lessons that come as you keep on reading through Leviticus, but it repeats things. Of course, instruction involves repetition, right? God needed to repeat these things a lot.
Oh, yes.
All right. So let's talk about these matzah cakes and wafers, y'all. The word for matzah comes from the word matzatz, and it means to drain out. Right? So you see these matzah wafers, they kind of dry, right? So it means to drain out. So we know that Yeshua represents the bread. He is the matzah. He is the unleavened bread, right? He is he's the bread of life, y'all. Right. And so if this bread represents Yeshua and it means drain out, then I guess that would make Jesus a dry cracker. That's not racist because Jesus wasn't white. All right. That joke never gets old.
You're excused.
Jesus ain't no joke. That's why it never gets old. Behold, I make all things new. I can tell that joke again in 3 minutes. It's going to be just as funny. All right.
Maybe you could make up a song to sing it in.
You know you want it as a ringtone, right? I make a song out of it. Okay, now, when Yeshua was pierced, blood and water was drained from him, right? So once again, y'all, these are iconic moments in history that we know about. Yes, the Lord was already telling us about this back at the tabernacle. He told you that in that dry cracker that you eat, the matzahs. Yeah. What does it mean? Drained out. Yeah, when Yeshua was pierced, he was drained out, right? Blood drained from him, gushed from him, right? The same word, when it was talking about this drain, the same word in the Greek, exerchomai, right? Exerchomai. The same word for when this draining is when the woman with the issue of blood touched Yeshua, right? Another iconic moment. We know about the woman with the issue of blood who touched Yeshua. This was reported of back in the tabernacle. Yeshua's like, yeah, man, I'm giving you the heads up on who to expect. These things are going to happen, right? That drain word, right? Yeah. Get it in your head. All right. So y'all, now let's look at that for a second. When Yeshua said, hey, who touched me? Because he felt power drained from him when she touched him. Okay, y'all, remember we were talking about approaching God, right? Yeah. God being approachable, right? Remember, y'all, he's the king. Just like anybody else, you approach people in certain ways. Now, you can't just approach God out of protocol. If you do, that's punishable by death, right? So all these people surrounding Jesus and trying to touch him and be healed by him and stuff, y'all, that's punishable by death. You're not supposed to do that, right? Especially coming to touch him with an issue of blood.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because people with such bodily discharges, y'all, are really supposed to be under, here comes your favorite word, quarantine. Right? You're supposed to be quarantined. Now, and if the problem persists beyond the duration of the prescribed quarantine, then that person is to be separated from the village until healed. I mean, we don't know when that's going to be, right? But that's the way it's supposed to be.
Goodness.
All right. So if folks with disease that involve oozing or discharges, they weren't supposed to be around folks, right? Well. And the infirm couldn't just go to God and make an offering.
Oh,
right. Even if you're going to make an offering, you can't go to make an offering. Yeah. Right. Like it's going to tell you in Leviticus 21:18 through 19, no man who has any defect may approach. No man who is blind, lame, disfigured, deformed, no man who has a broken hand, a broken foot, right? Who is a hunchback, a dwarf, an eye defect, a festering rash, scab, or a crushed testicle.
Oh my word.
God, seriously? You gonna bring it all the way down to the crushed testicle? No crushed testicle. Bring me no. Sure, people got no reason. No. And crushed testicles got no reason. Okay, how politically incorrect is that?
Right? Yeah.
Right? Oh man, that sounds like a mean, unapproachable God, don't it?
Yeah, before I was Christian, I used to use this verse as one of my justifications for a mean God.
Right? Mean. That sounds just mean. Stuck up and mean. God, you stuck up and mean. Right? Okay. But y'all, here's the thing. It is actually a picture of his mercy and compassion. Because here you go, y'all. God is going to make a house call for these people. Right? God wants us to draw near to him. Yeah. But it's like, look, man, I'm going to save you the trip. No. You stay right where you are. I'm going to save you the trip, y'all. That's what the Sabbath was for. Right? When the Sabbath comes in, man, when I tell you to rest, I mean it. I don't want you to make no fire. I don't want you to gather any firewood. I don't even want you to make a fire. Right? That sounds kind of messed up, don't it? Because desert nights get cold.
Yes.
You're going to need someone. God, what do you want us to do? You just want us to sit here in the dark freezing? Right? Don't light no fire for warmth or nothing? That doesn't sound very relaxing and restful, God. Shivering in the dark is not relaxation. Y'all, God comes to visit them. You think God's just going to leave them shivering in the dark? No, it's a day of rest. It's a day of complete rest. God comes to them. The same way that God came to Adam and Eve the seventh day. He came to kick it with them. But they kicked it with the devil instead. That's why working or doing anything on the Sabbath is punishable by death, because the Sabbath was the day that death was entered into the world.
Wow.
That's why. Death was given dominion. Death was already here, but death was given dominion over mankind. That wasn't supposed to happen. That happened on the day that God came to rest with Adam and Eve. That's why the Sabbath is punishable by death if you work on it. Right? God's like, chill. I'm coming to visit you. You got infirmities? You ain't got to come to me. I'm going to come to you. Gosh. Right? That's the mercy of God that people never
That is amazing.
Right? In the same manner, Yeshua did the same thing. I'm going to come to you. Right?
Yes.
Now, the thing is, in the protocol of it, though, yeah, by all rights, y'all are supposed to be dead for coming to approach me like this. The drain that Yeshua felt wasn't the drain of giving this woman a healing. That's nothing for God. What's it to God to heal? That's easy. The drain that he felt was the restraint to stay his hand to not kill everybody for approaching him the way that they did. Right? That's the drain that he felt, especially a woman coming with the issue of blood who's not even supposed to be around anybody. Right? Especially the king. So now, once again, y'all, let's not look at God like he's some stuck-up person or anything like that. It's like, no. I mean, even doctors will tell you everybody's bodily fluids are suspect. Yes. Right? You don't trust nobody's bodily fluids. That's to keep people safe. Right? So Yeshua operates the same way. And plus that, y'all, infirmities and stuff like that, that's a symptom of sin. And God doesn't surround himself with sin. Right? Yeah. God doesn't do that because sin leads to death. God, the most offensive thing that a person can be to God is dead. Right. Death is highly offensive to God. And things that are tied to death, like disease, right? Things that are oppressive. Disease is oppressive, y'all. God doesn't do oppression. That's why it says, I am the Lord your God who leads you, who brought you out of Egypt. Egypt itself means bondage. It means oppression. Disease is oppressive. God hates oppression. Death is the most oppressive, which makes it the most offensive to God. Wow. Sin is oppressive. Disease is oppressive. These things are an offense to God. He does not want to be around it. You bring that to him, he will be highly offended and can have you put to death. punish you by the very thing that offends him the most. You want to bring that to me? I will punish you by the thing that offends me the most, right? Don't step outside of my statutes, right? So that's not a mean God. This is a God that is determined to liberate us from death, those who trust in him. But if you got those who are part of them, these people are agents of death. They will be highly offensive to God, and his wrath will pour out on them, right? Okay, let's see. So that's coming out of the matzah, y'all. That's coming out of the matzah cake, drained out. That's what matzah means. It comes from the word matzatz, and it means to drain out. The word for matzah cake. All right, so we have matzah, and we got matzah cake. Matzah cake, the word for that is kala, and it comes from the word kalal, which means to pierce. Oh, come on, right? What does bread and stabbing somebody have? But that's what, remember, y'all, Yeshua is the bread.
Indeed.
He's the matzah. He is that grain.
Yes.
He's the bread. He's the matzah. He's the matzah. He's the matzah cake. He's the matzah wafer. He's the bread. He's the bread offering. It's him. Yeah. Right? So what are we going to do with that bread? We're going to pierce it. That's going to be included in the meaning. All these mnemonics that are in there. Do this in remembrance of me.
Yeah.
Remember who I've always been. All right. Isaiah 53:5. But he was pierced for our transgression. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. All right. Let's jump into the matzah wafer. Right. The word for matzah wafer, that's going to be rakik, from the word rakak, and it means to spit. Man, don't be spitting on my wafer. It's in there though. Right? What does spit have to do with wafer? Unless it's really dry, suck all the moisture out of your face when you eat it.
True.
Man, I need some spit. I don't know. Give me a glass of, some water, some almond milk. I like almond milk. Right? Something to help me, eat this thing with. But we know that spit even itself is an iconic episode, even with Yeshua. He was telling y'all, hey, look out for that spit, even back then. Spit, it's like, spit in the bread, man. Yeah, you're going to remember that. You should. I don't know. For some reason, a lot of people forgot. Unfortunately. But here's the thing. Ain't no excuse, though.
Yeah.
Right? Ain't no excuse to not remember that. God covers all the angles, y'all. But a lot of people, they overlook it, try to make it legalistic and all that sort of stuff. It's like, no, man, just get down to the code. Amen. The Lord tells you that it's a code. It's something that has to be calculated. He tells you that with the gate of the tabernacle. What does the gate of the tabernacle mean? It means something that you add up, something that you calculate, right? I've given you all the formula and numbers necessary to add this up, right? Yeah. So if the word for wafer, rakik, is going to mean spit, all right? Yeshua, who spit in the dirt, took it and healed the man of blindness. Yeshua, who said, I'll spit you out of my mouth if you're lukewarm. Yeshua, who spit out the vinegar when it was given to him instead of water, right? Mark 10:34. Look, we're going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and scribes. They will condemn him to death, and they will deliver him over to the Gentiles, who will mock him and spit on him, flog him, and kill him. After 3 days, he will rise again. Mark 15:19. Again and again, they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him, falling on their knees. They paid homage to him, of course, in mockery, right? Matthew 26:67. Then they spat in his face and struck him. Others slapped him, right? So, coincidence that spit would be in there? Of all the things to put in there to have to associate something with a wafer, spit? Yeah. Either King of Kings or King of Coincidence.
Right.
I'm going to go with King of Kings.
Me too. Let's
see. Leviticus 7:13-25. Okay, we read that, and it's going to talk about the yeast. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. We can eat bread made with yeast? Man, bring me a donut. Oh, God, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Randy's in the house. Give me that donut. The people will be chiming in, you haven't had a real donut until you tried a donut for you. It's like,
Right.
All right. I'm sure y'all got some wonderful donuts. I'm pleased with my Randy's. And if I'm in your neck of the woods, we'll try some of your donuts too. It's hard to make a bad donut. I think, have we ever, you know what? If I may, and man, I guess I can never forget about ever being able to do a commercial with Dunkin' Donuts, but man.
Right, yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Man, I tried Dunkin'
You're not
Donuts.
the only person who's
Really?
A lot of people hate Dunkin' Donuts. They say the coffee's great, but don't try the donuts.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's like a sugar-coated crouton, man. This is dry. That's why they make their coffee so good, man, so you can have something to soak up that donut with and give it some moisture, man, because them donuts, man, that's a dry donut.
Oh.
You gotta dunk them donuts. You got to. You know, maybe then it's good or something like that. It's like, I don't even know if I even got to enjoy the coffee. It's like it's like I heard the donuts. I heard the donut slurp. I was like, damn.
Like a dry sponge.
I'm going to have to cut that out. It was like, suck the water. Give me my coffee back. Woo. Okay. I got to find that one to edit that.
Oh, no.
Dang. All right. Okay. So we got yeast, and the word yeast is going to be chemetz, which means to be made sour. Right. So we talk about yeast. That's going to be chemetz, and it means to be made sour. And it also means cruel man. Interesting, right? You a sourpuss, mean old man, you. And they were very cruel to Yeshua, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, he kind of gave us the heads up on that too. Long time ago, long before he came, before he showed up. The bread with the yeast, y'all, the bread that represents the sour cruelty of man, who will make the blood of Yeshua splatter. His blood are implicated in this offering, right? Yeah. It's all there, y'all. These people who are, it's like they're supposed to take the offering, spatter its blood, right? Well, that's what they did with Yeshua. They were cruel to him and they spattered his blood, right? And even Yeshua is still going to give them a chance at peace and fellowship with him, right? That's why he rode in on that donkey, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanksgiving offering. Okay, now the Thanksgiving offering, let me read a little bit of that. Hope I can find my way to it.
We were on 14.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. From each, he is to offer one out of every offering as a gift to Adonai. It will belong to the Kohen who sprinkles the blood, right, as we said, of the fellowship offerings, the meat of the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings for Thanksgiving. It is to be eaten on the day of his offering, all right? He is not to leave any of it until the morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering is a vow or a free will offering, it is to be eaten on the day that he offers his sacrifice. On the next day, what remains of it may be eaten, but what remains of the meat of the sacrifice on the third day is to be burned up with fire. If any of the meat of the sacrifice of his fellowship offerings is eaten on the third day, it will not be accepted, nor will it be credited to him who offers it. It will be a foul thing. Does that mean it'll be a bird? No. Foul, funky thing. It's be a foul, funky thing. And the soul who eats any of it, who eats from it, will bear his own iniquity. Let's take a look at some of that stuff. Okay, so we got the Thanksgiving offering. That's to be eaten on the same day, right? What's the difference? The difference is because if it's a Thanksgiving offering, y'all, it's because you're giving this thanks because you know who you're giving thanks to.
Yeah.
Right? So if you know who you're giving thanks to, that means if God says to be eaten that day, then you know better than to try to eat it try to save some for tomorrow.
Right.
Right? It has to be eaten and what's left has to be burned up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Thanksgiving. Remember, y'all, if it's a Thanksgiving, you know, it's like you got to know who God is to give thanks to him, right? You acknowledge who he is. I'm acknowledging you. You say that this has to be eaten like this. That's the way it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Right? Then there's the free will offering, right? And that's likened to, okay, you didn't use your free will. You didn't use your free will. You're offering this of your own free will. That's why it's called free will offering, right? But we know that God is also a God of free will. You choose him freely. Of course, now there's consequences there. Some people don't understand that just because you don't use your free will to accept God is, who God is, and if you go to hell for that, well, that's not really free will. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Okay? Free will is not void of consequences. You have the choice on the risk and the reward.
Yeah.
You know, how you're going to go about it. There's going to be these two roads. There's going to be a consequence to these two roads. That's free will. Your free will to choose, you know, what you're going to handle.
Yeah.
Right? That's still free will, guys. Free will doesn't mean that it's always going to be painless.
Right.
Right? So let's see. Now, but this free will offering, y'all, is likening to, okay, you didn't use your free will to register who God is. Right? When he was among the Israelites with smoke and fire. Okay? And they didn't it's like you guys don't register who he actually is. Just like, you know, it's God. Okay. And even if you do know it's God, you don't seem to register that his law is law. What are you rebelling against his law for? All right. You're not registering. You're not making a register here. Okay. So that, y'all, that's going to be day one meat. That's meat on day one. Your free will to choose, and you chose poorly. That's day one meat. Right. Day two meat is the meat is the free will that they didn't use to accept Yeshua when he showed up, right? So you already got this proof of God as a pillar of fire and smoke, right? He's dwelling with you. He comes to visit you in your tents, but you're still not registering that you got to be obedient to him. And he's worthy of it. I mean, he's God, man. It's like, you don't want to step out of school with that.
Yes.
Right? And you have no excuse to, none. Anyway. Right? So you got God. There's your evidence of him right there. That's day one meat. Day two meat, Yeshua shows up. You still got no excuse because he's been giving you the instruction of who he is this whole time. Yeah. You should have recognized it when he showed up. That's day two meat. Right? So day three meat is too late meat. Right? That's expired meat. You don't want that meat. All right. It means that when refusing to acknowledge Yeshua for who he says he is and who he's always been, when he gives you the proof that he is the one, the Messiah and the resurrection. I'm talking about when he proves his resurrection and you're still not, you know, and Yeshua's going to, he's still, and the thing is, y'all, he's still not done showing who he is. That's why we're still, and God has given us a lot of time, y'all, to digest it. Lots of time, y'all. He's merciful. It's like we're wondering, why is this merciful? Right? We're like wondering, why is this taking so long? It's like, yeah, exactly. It should take. But y'all, there's going to be generations of people who are just going to, you know, this is a war, y'all. God is trying to minimize the casualty rate. Yeah. And part of that is the time. Right? It's like, man, I'm trying to give you guys time to come to grips with this. Yeah. Right? I'm gonna give you guys I've given you the ingenuity to come up with these technologies where you guys can share information so fast, but what are you using it for? There's no excuse for that. Rather than using it to learn more about me, you're trying to come up with ways to doubt me. Right?
Oh, that's so true.
You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse for that. But I'm merciful, y'all. I'm going to take you all the way. You're going to see me in all my glory. Yeah. You know, that white throne is going to be bumping. You ain't going to have no excuse to not deny me. You're not going to have any. Yeah. And if you do, man, that's day three meat. Right? That's meat that's supposed to, and if you're on that day three meat, that makes you dead meat. Right? So you don't want to be that. Don't be that. You know, don't be a 3-strike loser. Right? Okay, so with this dead meat, y'all, you know, it's like you can't be touching anything unclean. You can't be unclean with this meat. Right? You can't be unclean with it. Matter of fact, let me read a little bit. Let me read from 19. The meat that touches any unclean thing is not to be eaten. It is to be burned up with fire. As for the meat, anyone who is clean may eat it, but the soul who eats of the meat of the sacrifice of the fellowship offering belonging to Adonai, having his uncleanness on him, that soul is to be cut off from his people. If anyone touches any unclean thing, whether the uncleanness of man or an unclean animal or an unclean, detestable thing, nasty thing, and eats some of the meat of the sacrifice of fellowship offerings belonging to Adonai, that soul is to be cut off from his people. All right. So in this, right, you can't get by with no 5-second rule. Y'all. You drop this meat, it's dirty meat. All right. Don't eat no dirty meat. Don't eat no dirty meat, man. God don't like dirty meat. The basic essence of this instruction, y'all, is that this meat is an offering between you and Adonai, and the meat represents your relationship with Adonai in the person of Yeshua.
Yes.
You will taint this meat. This will become dirty meat,
Yeah.
right? If this meat is touched by other gods, religions, philosophies, worldviews, whatever, okay, that are apart from God. God does not take divided fidelity.
That's good.
All right? You do that, that's dirty meat.
Yes.
So when you got folks trying to mix their faith with Jesus, with other doctors and stuff like that, that he gave no endorsement of.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus don't do dogma. He don't do doctrine. Right? It's him only. That's it. Now, Yeshua, y'all, he liberates us from religion. He liberates us from it. All right? He doesn't leave us to be bound by the confusion of which religion or philosophy is right. He liberates us from that, right? And he gives us the clear and narrow path to freedom. It's him. Anything else? Dirty meat, right? Religion, dirty meat. If a person does the unclean thing of embracing the ways of the world while assuming to call themselves a follower of God, then that person, as in the person of Jesus Christ, that person is dead meat. Right? All right. You have an example of that would be you have folks that even call themselves Christians. Right? They'll even call themselves Christians, and they don't even believe that Jesus is God.
That's true. Yeah.
People calling themselves reverends.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. They don't believe that Jesus is God. You know what that is? That's dirty meat. Right? And if you bring God dirty meat, he gonna have beef with you.
Getting silly.
Which makes us dead meat. You don't want to be dead meat. Right? Okay. So it was talking about, let's see, reading on. Adonai spoke to Moses saying, speak to Bnei Yisrael saying, you are to eat no fat of a bull or sheep or goat, the fat of a dead animal and the fat of a torn animal may be used for any other service, but you must not eat it. For if anyone eats the fat of the animal from which the offering is made by fire to Adonai, then that soul who eats it is to be cut off from his people. All right, obviously that's some serious stuff. You don't want to mess around with that. Let's see. And notice that it says that, and y'all, we talked about why. All right, it's not a mystery. We talked about why this belongs to God, and you're not supposed to eat of it. But when it talks about, but you can use it for other things. It's like, we talk about the animal fat, the tallow, lard, blubbers. Right. These things can be made into soaps, ointment, fuel, such, but it's not to be used as food. All right. So as we discussed, let me see. Let me read this really quick. You are not to eat any blood, whether it is from a bird or an animal, in any of your dwellings. Whoever it is who consumes any blood, that soul is to be cut off from his people. Serious business, right? You can't be doing that stuff. So we discussed why the visceral fat is supposed to be offered, not eaten. The visceral fat represents those vices that have a grip on the people. Don't give into those, because obviously, if people can't even stick to this statute of not eating the fat the way it is, you're gonna do other things, and these things bring oppression and murder. Right? Yes. Don't give into it. That's why God's like, yo, I'm gonna nip this in the bud right now. You give into these things, I'm gonna have you put to death. Right? I'm gonna cut you off from the people. So let's see. Now this kind of fat, y'all, we're not talking about the same kind of fat that's like marbled into the muscle, right? That's superficial fat to cook food in or to add flavor. That's fine, right? Mm-hmm. It's the fat covering the vitals. Okay. That's what's supposed to be burned up. Right? What's the issue about eating blood? Eating blood, y'all, is a form of witchcraft. In various cultures, eating an animal's blood, particularly while it's living, is typically done with the idea of that they're assuming the animal's essence,
Oh, wow.
which of course is witchcraft.
Yeah.
That's sorcery. All right. And of course, eating an animal's blood is savage. It's inhumane.
Yes.
Right. That's out of the character of humanity. It's out of the
Yeah.
character of God. We're created in God's image. We're not supposed to be eating an animal's blood.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And also, y'all remember, the devil is the prince and the power of the air, and blood gets what the devil uses, gets what the devil rules. Right. The devil rules the air. We need blood to get what the devil rules into our body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. The devil relies on that delivery system, and y'all, we were supposed to breathe the breath of God. That's what we were supposed to be dependent on.
Yeah.
All right. Now the devil rules the air that we breathe. And our blood, moves that. That's why God pours his wrath out on our blood. When people wonder, what's the big deal about blood? That's why. Right. Well, also, being that blood is going through these animals, animals breathe in that, breathe in that air too. God doesn't want us eating that.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Right. Because the thing is, y'all, the devil is killing everything with every breath that we take.
Yeah.
God doesn't want us eating that. All right. So let's see. We're going to be talking about with his own hands, take it from 30, with his own hands, he is to bring Adonai's offering by fire. He is to present the fat with the breast, so that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before Adonai. The Cohen is to burn up the fat as smoke on the altar. Smoke on the altar. Okay, but the breast will belong to Aaron and his sons. The right thigh you are to give to the Cohen for a contribution out of the sacrifices of your fellowship offerings. The one among Aaron's sons who offers the blood of the fellowship offerings and the fat is to have the right thigh for a portion. For the breast of the wave offering and the thigh contribution I have taken for Bnei Israel out of the sacrifices of the fellowship offerings and have given them to Aaron, the Cohen, and to his sons as their portion forever from Bnei Israel. Okay, so let's check this out. When it's talking about this person, let me see. With his own hands, he is to bring Adonai's offering by fire. Okay, this is a very simple picture, y'all. These are folks bringing Adonai's sacrifices by their own hands, meaning that we can come directly to Yeshua. That's what that is, man. Simple picture. You don't have to go see a priest for that.
Amen.
All right? See a priest and confess your sins and all that sort of stuff and expect the priest to forgive you is, no. Don't work that way. The priests were there to help, yes. Right?
Yeah.
They helped and did certain things to maintain protocol, just as we do today, who are in the priesthood of Yeshua. Right? We help each other in the study of him. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Right? We help each other in the study of Yeshua.
Yeah.
We're in his priesthood.
Yeah.
But y'all, we get to go directly to him. He's God.
Yeah.
Right? He's God and he's high priest. He's both. Which means that when you go to Yeshua, you go to God at the same time.
Yes.
Right? That's what he died for.
Yes.
He didn't die to give somebody else that distinction.
Right.
We pray for each other, yes, but we don't assume that we can atone for other people's sins or have any sort of last rites concerning them or anything. No, we don't do that. That's in Yeshua's hands. His alone. Right? When we talk about discipling people, it's not I'm not making you my disciple. You're not making somebody else your disciple. We're making him.
Yes.
Right? He's the one who handles the discipline.
Yes.
Right? We're disciples of him. So now when it comes to people who are new in the faith, yeah, of course we're going to help folks learn how to walk and stuff like that, but we're no sort of symbol of atonement for them. We can't assume to be that. Right? It's like, I'm not anybody that you confess your sins to or anything. It's like, no, that's Yeshua. That's Yeshua's domain.
Yeah.
Right? The only thing I can do is highly suggest. It's like, hey man, you might want to take that to the Lord. You want to learn about him? Let's study, man. Let's get the ball rolling.
Yes.
Let's get the conversation started. Right? I hope you're welcome to. I hope you're welcoming to it. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Right? But to make it some ritual of you gonna see me, every so often to confess, oh man, don't work that way. All right. So that's what this is a picture of. Right? They can bring the sacrifice. All right. Let's see. Now, but all this to say, y'all, our relationship with Christ is dependent it's not dependent on the intercession of a priest. Yeshua is already the high priest, and we go directly to him. We are his church. Right? It's not about
Hallelujah.
going to church.
Yes.
We are the church, right? And he blesses us with the insight to be able to edify each other, but it's still his instruction, right? It's still his atonement. Let's see. Leviticus 30. Okay, let's talk about that. The wave, the breast offering. Meaning, and when we talk about the breast offering, y'all, the word for breast is going to be meaning to behold, right? To have a vision, to prophesy. In the breast, you're gonna have this breast meat. It means to have a vision. You're gonna throw that in there, God. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're waving the breast of this animal, they're supposed to be able to see and behold the prophecy. Right? They're supposed to pick up on that, right? All this stuff taught in the tabernacle. Okay? When we get to the word, we start talking about this blood, right? Let's talk about the blood for a minute. The word for blood, y'all, is, we've talked about this before, but God wants us to revisit it again. According to his word, the word for blood is damn, right? So when I said damn earlier, that was me saying that. I was saying right here, because it's biblical.
Right.
Don't y'all shame me. Zo said damn in his study. Damn, right here. The word for blood, he was damn. Okay. Interesting. That damn would be the word for blood. And the word for blood, damn, is tied to the name of the first man to be damned to death.
Yeah.
Right? Adam. Ooh, what a coincidence. All right. And who is Yeshua? Yeshua is the second Adam, right? Who gave his blood, damn, for what the first Adam did. All right. Dam is also tied to the word damam, which means more specifically innocent blood, right? And it also means to become silent, to hold one's peace, right? Which is interesting. Okay, so just as a point on a side note, damam, or when we talk, like coming from the associated with the word dam, blood, is to become silent or to hold one's peace. But God said Abel's blood cried out to him from the ground.
Yeah.
Wasn't silent then. No peace. Ain't gonna be no peace today.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset, right? Right. But hey, when you consider that though, because the thing is, Yeshua he was within every right to put up an argument, right? He didn't have to. He could have floored everybody with one word. He's gonna do that.
Yeah. Right?
But he was silent anyway. Interesting, right? Because Abel wasn't silent even when his blood called out from the ground. But that's what this is meant. This what's telling you. Because damn is coming out of the word damam, which means to be silent, right? To hold your peace. Now, of course, like we said in the earlier study, when people think that, man, Yeshua, why were you so timid, man? Why didn't you say nothing? It's like, man, my daddy already showed up and testified who I am. What more testimony do I need to give?
Right.
Right? These Pharisees were there when God showed up, said, this is my son with whom I'm well pleased. Yeah. Dove came up and came down and lighted on my shoulder and stuff like that. They were there. Yeah. What do I need to keep talking for? Right?
Wow.
So, but y'all, the thing is, when we're talking about this word, we're talking about innocent blood. Yeshua was an innocent man, right? It means to become silent or hold one's peace. And Yeshua was silent before his accusers.
Indeed.
He was telling you who he was the whole time, right? Okay. Then we get into, we go more in depth on that. I hope you guys check out Leviticus 5 for why it was that Yeshua was silent. We go more deep into that. Then it's going to talk about that thigh. Let me see something really quick. Let me let's actually close out really quick. Let's take it from
we left off on
37. Oh, no, we read 35. We read that. I read all through that. I know I did. Unless, you want me to sing the Smoke on the Altar song.
Please.
You know you want to hear. I'm going to sing it for you later. I'm going to serenade you with it.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. This is the Torah of the burnt offering, the grain offering, the sin offering, the trespass offering, the ordination offering, and the sacrifice of fellowship offerings, which Adonai commanded Moses at Mount Sinai on the day he commanded Bnei Israel to present their offerings to Adonai in the wilderness of Sinai. And just in case I'm wrong, and I might be, you can go back and read it for yourself. Got spoon feed everything, y'all. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about that thigh, right? We've talked about that before. Man, amazing implications there as we did the deeper studies on it, but we'll just, we're going to revisit it just briefly here again. The thigh is going to be the word shok, and which means ruthlessly. Out of the thigh. I guess unless you get stomped by by one of these bulls or something like that. I guess that could be ruthless. I don't know. But God's gonna throw the word ruthless in there. Ruthless in the word for thigh, shok. And they were ruthless. They were quite ruthless to Yeshua, weren't they? Yeah, he told you that they were gonna be. He was hung and mocked as King of the Jews. But when he comes back in his mind-blowing majesty, it will be written on his thigh, King of Kings, right?
Awesome.
All the way back in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeshua's been letting you know who he's always been, way back then. All about him. All about him. All right, there you go, y'all. And hey, if you dig the message, y'all, just remember, the message is free. Delivering it's not, and we want to keep this fellowship going with y'all. We hate to make it, about the money, y'all, but we just want to be able to keep the lights on. We want to make it about this, and I hope that I am much better, right? I hope I'm better at doing this than I am trying to pitch for the support, but we definitely could use it. I hope you guys, understand that, and help us keep gas in the truck so we can keep delivering the word. In the capacity that we have. And also, we got the mugs, so you can do a proper toast to the Most High. And we got the book, A Solid Right Cross, got them jams, 20-pound sleds. So, we hope you visit at bronzeserpentmedia.com. And with that, Lord, if we may, we just want to be effective for you, Lord. We hope that our study was a blessing to you.
Yes.
We hope that our fellowship is a blessing to you. And we want to be that effective salt and light for you, fruitful for your glory. And report of you in a way that's pleasing to you.
Yes.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.
In Yeshua's name, amen. Shalom.